Good morning, humble practitioners. It's week 4 of the Humble Practice, a year of self-awareness. I'm Lynn Shuck, and today we're standing up. Woohoo! You do not have to be barefoot to do this. I'm only doing this for demonstration purposes. You can do this in whatever shoes you've got on. I do recommend if the heels are high, you might slip them off when you're checking in on this, but maybe you don't. So what we're going to work on today is, again, going back to observation. How do you stand when you're not paying attention? And we're going to build on this, and next week we're going to do more with this stance. But today, all I'm asking for this whole week is for you to start to catch the default. And by default, I mean how you are when you're not paying attention. For me, it looks like this. I cock my right hip out, I turn my left foot out, bend that knee, there's no weight in that leg, everything's in the right. Hands on the hip, or maybe this arm's up, or they're crossed, but mostly this is what I'm aware of. Drop into that right hip, no weight in my left leg, leg rotates. Is that what you do? Do you do the Bob Fosse version of that? Maybe you lock your knees way back. I can't even do that. Or maybe you stand really wide and you sort of sink down into it, one hip or the other. I don't know how you stand, but you get to figure it out this week. And after you started to notice that, then I want you to notice what happens if you get your weight on both feet. You're not trying to make them into anything. In fact, it's best if you don't look at them when you come onto both feet. When you get on both feet, I want you to look down. When I look down, this is what I see. My left foot tends to be a little forward of my right, maybe half an inch or more. And both feet turn out a little, but the left one always turns out a little more than the right. That's what I see. So what do yours do? Does one foot turn out, both feet turn out, in? What do they do? So that's the second part of this, is just what do they do? And then the third part is to make your feet turn parallel and see what that feels like. When I say parallel, I mean the inside edges of the feet, the toes, especially the second toe, pointing straight forward. Now, if you have toes that tend to push out, maybe because of shoes that you wore or it's hereditary, line yourself up by the bones in your foot, the bones that run down toward that second toe. Make those lines parallel if your toes are not a good gauge. But just come to parallel and see what that does. If you're used to being turned out with your feet, this will feel really weird. If you're used to being turned in, this will feel really weird. But just find parallel. So there it is, 3 parts this week. What's your total default? What happens if you get your weight on both feet? What's that default look like? And then what does it feel like if you make them parallel? And I do want you to look down and make them parallel, because you might think you made them parallel, but they're not. It happens to all of us. So look down for that. That's it. That's your work this week. Go to it. I'll see you next week, and we're going to build on this.